Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nirvasesa Sunyavari Paskachade Satarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasari Gobhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is going to take about an hour. But I think you can have fun and it'll go by quickly. One thing is, if you have a cell phone, shut it off. Don't worry, the bad news will still be there when you turn it back on. You can just off the button. And I don't think we have any crying babies. But if we have any crying babies, this is hard for them and hard for the audience. So every baby gets 3 cries. Like in American baseball, 3 strikes and then you are out. But you get 3 shots. I apologize for my back. I apologize for my speaking quickly. But there it is. So it is healthy to know, you know, Prabhupada said that familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes we're in our little local temple and we have our little local circle of events. We have our little circle of events and we tend to find fault. Just stop. Whatever it is, stop. Thank you. Whatever we do, so it is healthy to note that we're part of a worldwide movement. There's a reason I picked this picture. You see, here's Chaitanya, just stop. Just sit, stop. I'm sorry, but everything's fine, just go. Here's Lord Chaitanya and all of his followers. And we are part of this wonderful Sankirtan movement. Okay, now, this is a saying by the American poet and essayist Thoreau. He said, most men, meaning most people, lead lives of quiet desperation. See this guy right here? Oh, my thing died. Oh, there it is. He is not a happy camper. See our man right here? And he's completely boxed in. Suppose, picture in your mind a bucket of water. You know, a bucket of water. Now, and picture the water line. You know the water line? Bucket, water line. Put your hand in it. What happens to the water line? It goes up. What happens when you pull your hand out? It goes right back to exactly where it was. Now, are we meant to spend our human form of life having no real impact on the world? We took up some space, and then when we're dead and gone, a few people cry for us for a few minutes, and then we're forgotten. Is that what the real meaning of human life is? To fill our belly and you know, is that it? There's much, much more to life. So here you see, we should not lead a life of quiet desperation. Whoops. Hey, Wogan. Okay. Hey, now whatever it is, sit and be quiet. What? Everyone's coming Indian Standard Time? What's going on here? I think we should shut that door. Because it matters. Okay, now sit. Thank you. I mean, we have to admit, that girl on the left, she's not bad looking. I mean, you know, aesthetics, beauty, symmetry. Whoa, what happened? Any of our young brahmacharis want to meet her late at night? The only thing that's happened is the influence of time. Everything we see in this material world is under the influence of time, and ultimately it fades and decays. So we should think, what are we doing with our life? Chasing after the ephemeral? This is Yadubar's father. Hey, quiet. This is serious stuff here. We're not playing. This is Yadabar's father. Same man. What has happened? Only the influence of time. This is one of my favorites. I like this sign. It says, learn to fly here. Ooh, something went wrong in the translation. Whoops. But the Prabhupada gives that wonderful purport in the Bhagavatam. We're all getting advice. The devotee householder, his family members are saying, work hard, make more money, bigger house, bigger car, this, that. We're all getting advice. But we have to consider, Prabhupada said, one man, I was in a darshan, and the man kept saying, oh, we're making progress, we're making so much progress. Prabhupada says, what is that progress? Prabhupada said, your progress is like a moth into the flames. Fine, there's motion, but where are you going? A monkey's busy all day long. Is that intelligent activity? So we're getting advice, but we should think, what is the source of that advice? Prabhupada said there's fool number 1 and fool number 2. Hey, in the back. You know who fool number 1 is? The one who says something foolish. You know who fool number 2 is? Huh? Who's fool number 2? Fool number 1 we defined, says something stupid. Who's fool number 2? The one who follows it. So we're getting all kinds of advice, but where's it going? We have one choice. How will we use our time? We have this valuable human form of life. Art to die. It can give the greatest benediction. What are we going to use this human form of life for? For doing what the cats and dogs are doing? So Krishna says, I'm adventure. You want to have fun? You want to do something meaningful? You want to do something that brings out your full potential? Join the Sankirtan mission. Put your shoulder to the wheel and spread Lord Chaitanya's mission. That's adventure. Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now we're going to start whirling around the world. Now you all know ISKCON India. I show this all over the world, so I try to have a little flavor. But just here's a few things. This is just a sample. Prabhupada said that Prabhupada was at the BBC and they asked him, anyway, I'll say it this way because we're thinking of time. Prabhupada said, you're asking me so many questions, now I have a question for you, to the BBC reporter. Prabhupada said, they say that the sun never sets on the British Empire. The man said, yes. Prabhupada said, then why does it never shine in London? Which completely blew the guy's mind, you know. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. But then Prabhupada said, actually the British lion is badly bandaged. You know, they're a little tiny island now, you know, and what can they do, you know. But they lost the jewel in the crown, the British, the Indian, India. But the point is that the sun never sets on ISKCON. All over the world, right now, devotees are putting on festivals, devotees are worshiping the deities, devotees are distributing books, all over the world, something wonderful is happening by the grace of Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is a sample. We're starting with India. This is the Vedic planetarium. I joined Krishna consciousness, first met Prabhupada in 1969, moved in 1970. We were talking about ISKCON. This is translating. Is that what's going on back there? Okay, no, that's all right then. Thank you. I'm sorry I speak quickly. But it was more or less an idea. Just like Prabhupada's godbrothers, when they said to Prabhupada, well, they used to think, Prabhupada's godbrothers thought that the Back to Godhead list of temples was a fake, was a fraud. When we all came to Mayapur in 1973, before we came, Prabhupada said, take a picture of each temple. And so that they know it's actually our building, take the devotees outside and take a picture of the devotees in front of the building. And we did it. And then Prabhupada had those, you know, the main road. In those days it was only the Conch building. Yeah, the Lotus building. The Lotus building was the only building there. So the devotees, all along that road, from the Bhaktisiddhanta Marg all the way to the Lotus building, was lined with pictures of temples from all over the world. And Prabhupada's godbrothers from the Gaudiya Math came and stood shocked. I swear, I saw it, with their mouths hanging open. They could not believe it. It's just like if I showed you, here's the temple ISKCON Mars. You saw little green men with Kuntimala and Tilak. And whoa! They couldn't believe that people in the West could take the Krishna consciousness, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction in every town and village was actually happening. They were shocked. In a similar fashion, that this beautiful temple, which frankly is like a space portal, it is like a vortex that opens up the spiritual world. It is the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, the previous acharyas. This temple of Vedic planetarium will rock the world. We're not just saying that. It's Prabhupada's prediction, Nityananda Prabhu's prediction, like that. So, okay, it's a beautiful picture. Will it actually happen? And you know how it works. This is a Vedic planetarium. Vedic planetarium, 3D IMAX, with the Vedic Research Institute down here. This is Lord Nrsinga's beautiful temple. Prabhupada said he should have his own place. And this is beautiful Radha Madhava, the Panchatattva, and the Parampara, Guru Parampara. And all in here is a moving diorama of the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The model has been made. It actually, we could, Prabhupada said you have to explain all the phenomena, eclipses, everything. You have to be able to explain it all based on the 5th canto. That working model has been constructed, and it will be installed in here. And all the way along here will be dioramas and displays all the way up to the top. When they get to here, they'll understand. It'll be a virtual pilgrimage of the soul. They will understand, Goloka and Gokula. Gokula, Goloka. They'll see Radha Madhava here, manifest in this world, and they'll see at the very top Radha and Krishna and Vaikuntha. And they will travel on these dioramas all the way, middle, Om Bhur Bhuvaswa, they'll go all the way up. They will literally traverse, what is it, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopakumar. It's all Prabhupada's vision. It's fantastic. Okay, nice theory. Hey, it's actually happening. This picture was taken about 6 months ago, so it's even bigger. It is coming up. Here's a picture from up above, just to give you an idea. This is the Samadhi, this is the Mother Ganga. So it gives you an idea of the scope, size, and location. It's actually happening. All we need is about $20 million more. You want to send checks, don't be shy. It'll come. By Krishna's grace and hard work, it'll come.
That's why I told you we'll charge $100.
Yeah. So this is Pune. There are so many temples coming up in India. We used to ship ghee from Australia, powdered milk, devotees there was nothing in India. And now India's, America's becoming first world and India's becoming third world. America's becoming third world and India's becoming first world. So this is Pune. Again, this is the main temple, Balaji temple. This is all, ashram and offices and seminar halls, guest house, restaurant. Okay, it's a pretty picture. Hey, it actually happened. Here's the beautiful picture of the temple opening. It was in January last year. Whoop, went the wrong way. Sorry about that. Here they're putting the Kalash on top of the Shikar. This is the President of India. He was supposed to come for a half hour. He stayed for 2.5 hours. He had so much fun that at one point he just shut off his cell phone. He can do it, so can we. So this is just a picture. All of this will be beautiful grounds, but if you haven't been there, it's coming. Guest house, classrooms, Govinda's restaurant. They have 4 of these. These are already sold units of apartments full of devotee families. They have the main temple compound, and on each side there's main temple compound. On each side there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these devotee apartment buildings coming up. Here's the beautiful deities, Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Now, Prabhupada wanted, this also opened last year, Prabhupada wanted us to build, he could understand that everybody in India was chasing after the West. So Prabhupada was trying to get them to give their top sons, give one son to be trained as a nice, intelligent Brahmin and save the world. Nobody would do it. So Prabhupada said, let's start a first-class school. Rich men will put their children in that school and we'll train them to become devotees. It's actually happening. This says Bhaktivedanta Swami Mission School. This is international standard. This school, Jayapataka Maharaj was joking one time that we really need to think about the Gurukula system. He said, you are all going back to Godhead. He said, but I don't know if I'm going to. I'm probably going to come back in Gurukula, so I want to make sure it's set up nicely when I come back, It's nice, but it's true. He'll go back to Godhead. But the point is, it's a beautiful school, Bhaktivedanta Swami Mission School. Here, 900 students, 70 teachers. This is the main assembly hall. And what's at the front of that hall? Beautiful Lord Jagannath deities. They put on a Rathayatra in the local neighborhood. All the prasadam comes from the local Govinda's restaurant. I mean, I wouldn't mind. If I got to come back in this world, fine. Put me at Bhaktivedanta Mission School. They have a chemistry lab, auditorium, video conferencing. They have those far-out computer screens that the teacher can write on her desk, and it all comes up on the big computer board. The kids can interface with it. It's first class. It's first class. You can see all the different things they offer. I'm going quickly because of the time factor.
Which city is it in?
It is in Mumbai, as it said in the beginning. Mumbai, Juhu. It's from the Juhu temple in Mumbai, Bombay, as we used to say. Okay, I hear a cell phone. In the Bhaktivedanta manner, if your cell phone goes off during the talk, you have to give 10 pounds to the hundi, to the deities. So we could institute that. If your cell phone goes off, Krishna Balaram, you can give something. See what you know about this already. But here you can see each one of these trucks has the ISKCON logo. They're all lined up in front of one of the feeding centers. Prabhupada said that no one should go hungry within 10 miles of a temple. Prabhupada said, how can they understand Bhagavad Gita if their stomach is empty? No? So, in addition to them getting prasada, Prabhupada said, I hope this will be the last time, I'll try to stay on track, but it's a nice story. If you eat off a diseased man's plate, what happens? Young man, what happens? Huh? Yeah, I'm looking at you right there. You're the one who's hiding. You. If you eat off a diseased man's plate, what happens? You'll get the disease, isn't it? Yeah. So we're eating off Krishna's plate, isn't it? We're taking prasadam. So what will happen to us? We get Krishna's disease. Prabhupada said this. And every disease has a symptom, isn't it? Sneeze, cough, fever, something like that. So we're eating off Krishna's plate, taking prasadam, we're going to get Krishna's disease. What is that disease? What are the symptoms? Prabhupada said, Sat Chit Ananda. And then Prabhupada said, if you catch this disease, Krishna's disease, there's no cure. So that disease we want to catch, isn't it? Krishna's disease? So here, they're distributing prasadam. So materially and spiritually, we've gotten so much goodwill because of this program. It's intelligent strategy. And we're distributing prasadam. And it's Krishna's and Prabhupada's order. So there's 8 of these centers now. I think they distribute close to 1 million meals a day, 6 days in a week, around the year. It's an amazing thing. This is our Delhi temple. They have 27 centers in Delhi alone. Those are big temples, preaching centers, these Krishna houses but now near the universities. 27 temples. I show this to the devotees, the temple presidents in New York and Los Angeles. They're completely in anxiety. They have 3 or 4. They're thinking, we've got to get it in gear. Same thing's happening in Mumbai. Same thing's happening in so many temples and places in India. This is Chennai Golden Beach. Beautiful place. Just like when we first got this, people thought, Prabhupada, no one will go out there. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Raman Reti. So many people come now. So this beautiful temple, Golden Beach, when they got the land some years ago, who will go out there? Now it's one of the top tourist areas in South India. Here's the temple. They expect, only in India, they expected 10,000 people, 25,000 showed up. But not to worry, full prasadam for everyone. And this temple, if you go there in Chennai, in South India, it's beautiful. It's designed by Banu Maharaj, who's astronomer, astrologer, mathematician. So it's all laid out like it's got all these different. It's a mini planetarium. It's very far out. And here's the beautiful deities, Radha Krishna deities. That's their name. Now, this is something we've been working on for 40 years. And it's finally happened. The devotees in Calcutta have managed to purchase Prabhupada's birth site. It is now in ISKCON's hands. That's a big event. It's a big event. The original jackfruit, you can see here's one of the jackfruit. The original jackfruit tree is there. It's full of, tenants and all this stuff. It'll take some time to move them all out. But we'll make it into a guest house, retreat. It'll be a beautiful place. Prabhupada's birthplace. And as history goes on, if you're right on top of a mountain, you don't notice the height. You see the trees, the rocks. You start going down the hill, you realize how steep it is. You get back on the plain and you look back and say, whoa, that thing is big. With the distance of time, people will begin to understand the impact Srila Prabhupada had on this world. So having his birthplace is a big deal. This is the ILS coming up in Mayapur. The ILS stands for ISKCON Leadership Seminar. We did the first one in 2012. Next one is this year in Mayapur. It is the best and brightest from ISKCON around the world coming together to give seminars, retreats, training courses. It's fantastic. A rising tide lifts all boats. By good education, ISKCON rises to a higher standard. So this is the group from last year, 2012. So it's happening 2014. This is something that's coming from GBC Strategic Planning. If you wonder what does strategic planning mean, one of the things is to look out into the future and see where you want to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So one of the things we're doing is providing top training to ISKCON's leaders to bring ISKCON to the highest standard of organization. And where do we want to be? Our basic mantra is happier devotees, more devotees. So this is an aspect of strategic planning. All the presentations will be we're going to pass out free flash drives with all the presentations on it. So please, I'm sure some of your senior leaders from Vrindavan are going there. When they come back, ask them to show you the seminars. This beautiful hall is here. Show them and educate. So it's meant to disseminate the knowledge throughout ISKCON. Now we're moving to South America. This is our property. This is the Atlantic Ocean. It's right in the middle of the beautiful area of the Amazon rainforest. And here's the guest house. They built it up as a beautiful retreat. Here's an aerial picture of it. They have a guest house. They have a restaurant. They have a meeting hall. They have yoga retreats. Everyone chants japa. Everyone follows the regular principles. They all have to go to Bhagavatam class. It's booked. They have travel parties coming from all over South America. Tourists from South America, from Spain. Stress relief, mantra meditation, philosophy. It's huge.
Parati, right? Parati? Parati, but...
Just go with the flow, my friend. Go with the flow. Because we gotta move here. Questions later. Otherwise, if we open for questions, I apologize. If we open for questions, we won't have time. This is in Recife, one of the largest. That's in Brazil. This is one of the largest centers in Brazil. This is the main square. This is our friend. You may recognize him from a world traveler. But this says Parque Prabhupada. So this is the central park in this one of the largest cities in Brazil, and they named it in honor of Srila Prabhupada. There's a nice plaque, tells the gifts that Prabhupada gave around the world. This is a temple in Lima. It looks like a nice Bengali Gaudiya-style temple, doesn't it? It's completely built by the devotees. I didn't have a chance because of time, but the whole ceiling is painted like the cover of the first canto Bhagavatam. You know, all that blue cover with all the Vaikunthas. It's unbelievable. All built by devotees. This is in Lima, in Peru. This is the main, it's a place called Miraflores. It's like the fancy part of the town. So they have a beautiful Govindas downstairs, and up above they have, it's like a Krishna lounge. They have Bhagavad Gita classes, classes for students, stuff like that. So it's their city temple. This is the Rath Yatra in Mexico City. It goes right through Chapultepec Park. Chapultepec Park was built by the Aztecs. It's the center of their capital. It's a beautiful park. You say, well, what happened here? Well, what happens is because there's wires on the road so that the canopy can go down. It goes under the phone wires and then it goes back up. Here's some devotees, Mexico City. You add Lord Jagannath, you add Brahmacharya, you add the holy name. Hari Hari Bol. This is in Panama City. This is their Rath Yatra in Panama City. Now we've come to North America. Like I say, we're just skimming the surface because of the time factor. There's so many nice things to show. America is back. We've had the best year of book distribution in 30 years. More books than have ever been distributed in North America happened last year. We've been increasing every year, and last year we increased, for the last 2 years, last year we increased by 20%, 20% the year before. This year will be at least 10%. So it's 50% increase over the last 3 years. And who are we distributing to? It's not so easy. Welcome to America, my friends. But look at it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that actually you see the people, they're locked up in their little houses, they're doing all kinds of nonsense, sinful, they got bones and feathers from birds and who knows what they're eating, you know. It's horrible. But in the core of their heart, they're looking down the road and they're wondering, when will Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan devotees please come and save me? When will the devotees of Gaur Nitai knock on my door and deliver me? And it's actually happening. So in America, it's not so easy. But here they are. They're buying Prabhupada's books. This man's life is... Where was he going to be in his next life? Who knows? But the Vaishnavas saved him. Even the dogs in America distribute books. This is Vaisheshika Prabhu. You know, one of the great heroes of our society and really inspiring book distribution in North America. Look at this. They say in America that a dog is a man's best friend. What it means is they don't really have any friends, so they got to settle for a dog. But actually, a cow is a man's best friend. Anybody here ever been raised on dog milk? No, a cow is a man's... But if you get a book from a dog, then that dog becomes your best friend. This is called Motel Gita. You know, there's this joke, Motel Patel. Many of the motels in North America are owned by Indians. And it hit them one day, wait a minute. You have a Bible. In every motel in America, you pull open the drawer, there's a Bible there. So these gentlemen and gentle ladies started thinking, well, hang on a minute, we own this motel. Why can't we put a Bhagavad Gita in there? So we've been approaching motels all across North America, and they've actually been buying Bhagavad Gitas and putting them in their motel drawers. We have one guy, Bhaktivatsal, he's initiated devotee, his name is Bart Patel. He has 3 motels in San Diego. He says, I've had the same Bible sitting in the drawer for 15 years. No, they're covered with dust, nobody reads them. He said, but the Bhagavad Gitas are flying out. So I said, well, wait a minute, maybe they're fanatical Christians throwing them in the trash. He said, no. He said, these people, when they're checking out, they're paying their bill, they've got the Bhagavad Gita under their arm, and they said, I only got to the 6th chapter. It's the best book I ever read. Can I take it with me? It's happening. So here's some numbers. They started the program 3 years ago, 190,000 Gitas distributed to date. In December marathon, I don't have the numbers from this year, this is the year before. In 1 month, ISKCON Silicon Valley, Vaisheshika, for 1 month, 16,000 Gitas. This is our Jayadvaita Swami. Maybe you recognize Jayadvaita Maharaj. They go to motel conventions, and you know, people are buying all things for motels. They buy Gitas. But just so we don't get puffed up, we don't go, oh, India, we're big book distributors. These are the numbers of America, of Bibles. This is one Bible society in America. Just one. There's hundreds of them. Here's their numbers. You saw those. They put the Bibles in motels. They're in 196 languages. They're in 93 countries. They have 84 million distributed in 2012. That's just in 1 year. 84 million Bibles. 1.8 billion since 1908. Just from this Gideon Society, they distribute 2 Bibles every second. So don't get puffed up and don't get lazy, oh best of the book distributors. We've got competition out there. This is in New York, 5th Avenue. Prabhupada said that at the time, America was the most important country in the world. Everyone was chasing America, and they still do to a large degree, certainly as far as public media. Prabhupada said the most important country, America. Most important city in America, New York City. Most important street in New York City, 5th Avenue. And here you have Lord Jagannath sailing down 5th Avenue on his Ratha Yatra. Prabhupada came to America. Prabhupada said, I was practically homeless. He sat down in Washington Square Park. He picked up a pair of kartals, sitting on the grass, and began to chant. And one of New York's finest, one of the policemen came along and said, hey buddy, get off the grass. So Prabhupada was sitting on the hot sidewalk all by himself with one pair of kartals. And here we see, decades after Prabhupada physically left this world, his followers are carrying on Ratha Yatra down 5th Avenue. It's a wonderful thing. It is to the credit of the Vaishnavas and Prabhupada's mercy. Srila Prabhupada is very pleased, no question about it. Just for fun, here's the LA Ratha Yatra. The New York Times, which is one of the biggest papers in America, called it a spiritual Barnum and Bailey's circus. It's unbelievable. You know, you read in the Bhagavatam there's 400,000 human species. It's in the Bhagavatam, I accept it.
But 400,000? I always wondered about it. You go to the LA Rath Yatra, you'll see them. It is the most bizarre, far-out group of people. And it's a wonderful... Anyway, I could tell you so many things about the LA... Swavas Prabhu and the LA devotees do something wonderful. If you're ever... It's always the first Sunday in August. First Sunday in August, unless it's Ekadasi. So first Sunday in August, if you ever make a plan, you're going to America, come to the LA Rath Yatra. Now, following in India's footsteps, this is something we've started in America, where we get some students that are interested in Krishna consciousness, rent a little apartment or a flat, and fix it up. They stay there. We have a nice morning program. They have evening Gita class, and it's a way of cultivating students. So this is in Chicago. This is the Chicago Krishna House. Here's a sample of the nice, tasty prasadam. And they now have 3 in Chicago, big universities, Northwestern, Loyola, and I forget what the other one is. Not University of Chicago, they're opening University of Chicago. But this, following in the footsteps of India, thank you for your good example, it's now happening in America. They have these music festivals, yoga, regional festivals. This is just, they're quite far out. This is the tent setup for one of these music festivals. Looks like you're on some celestial planet or something. More like the subterranean heavenly planets. And here's the audience. All kinds of young, intelligent, receptive people. So the devotees are setting up tents, distributing books, distributing prasadam, teaching them how to chant japa, having blissful bhajans, all across America. And we're making quality devotees. This is one of the major universities. This is from the Alumni magazine. This is what the University of Florida sends out to their top donors. They're raising money for renovating the campus. And to excite the donors, what is the main thing they're promoting? Krishna lunch. The prasadam distribution. Because the devotees, they started this program, whatever it was, 40 plus years ago. And they now distribute between 600 to 1,000 plates a day on campus to the students. This is a big number for America. In this magazine, here they're advertising the activities of the devotees. Krishna House, serving gators. That's their logo. They're called the gators for alligators. But here it shows them taking prasadam, serving prasadam. This is the prasadam program. It's the main in the main magazine sent to the graduates of the University of Florida to encourage them to give money to renovate the campus. The lead, most attractive program for the entire university is the Krishna lunch. It's quite an accomplishment. Now we're moving to the UK, into the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, all that. This is Bhaktivedanta Manor, of course, purchased by George Harrison. Do you recognize that lady in the hat? Do you see what she's looking at? These are Krishna Balaram deities. These are our students. She's coming to the opening of our school, this Avanti Krishna school. The students are chanting some verses from Bhagavad Gita, and they chanted also Trinadapi Sunichena. The devotees were translating, more taller than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer respects to others. And the devotees was explaining that these are the ethos, these are the core values of a Vaishnava culture. She turned to the devotee and said, well, wouldn't that be just grand? In other words, that's how a culture should be based. She was impressed. This is what the culture should be based on. Here she is. Is she having a good time or what? This is a woman who can buy anything, go anywhere, and what actually makes her happy? Hearing Bhagavad Gita and having darshan of Krishna Balaram. This is the devotee Naveen Krishna who's organized his schools. The man is a genius. Here's a picture of the school. Queen Elizabeth was sitting right here. Here's the temple room, right in the middle of school. Deities are here. This is all built to LEED standard, top green standard. This is grass growing on the roof for insulation. There's 4 schools. We have opened 4 of these schools, devotee schools. 4 of them. Bhagavad Gita, strict vegetarian, the whole thing. All the meals are all prasadam. There's 6 more shortlisted, which means the government's approved them. They just have, we've purchased the sites. The money's just in the pipeline and construction is starting. The government has spent over $80 million US. The UK government has given to ISKCON to build these schools. $80 million. The government on top of that gives $4 million a year to run these 4 schools. It's phenomenal. All glories to the UK devotees. This is the barn. This is the Goshala. It's all built tongue and groove, French oak. This building will be standing just like this in 500 years. It's all LEED standard, top environmental. When they sent it out for bidding to different contractors, one company sent it back and said, "You sent us the wrong building." Said, "This is better than we build for people." First class. This is London Rath Yatra, 20,000 plates of prasadam. They're going down Piccadilly Street, one of the most important streets in London. Now this is Janmashtami at the manor. Now you have huge numbers here in India, and I offer my respects. In the West it's not so easy. Here they have 1,500 volunteers, 60,000 guests over 2 days, 40,000 plates of prasadam, 10,000 plates of pizza, 10,000 guests chant one round of japa. It costs $500,000 to US to put on, but the management is so expert, they make $750,000. They make $250,000 profit off the festival, which helps run the temple for the year. Now, I almost fell off the roof of Bhaktivedanta Manor taking this picture. This is about 8 o'clock in the morning. So they're just getting started. This is only 25% of the ground. So picture this 4 other things. Gives you an idea of how the festival grounds is set up. It's completely packed. You can barely walk through during the daytime. And all through these are the grounds of Bhaktivedanta Manor. They put these Leela walks. You can walk through and chant japa. You'll see what I mean in a minute. They have a costume competition. This is a Leela walk. These are life-size cutouts. And they put these all through the grounds, and you can walk through and chant japa. People decorate them with flowers. Very blissful. There's a little explanation of what each pastime is. It's a nice way for expanding the grounds, and if you have a tight area, you can actually you get a wider area and spread out your crowd. Here's beautiful Radha Gokulananda. It's all decorated with all this is fragrant flowers. Here's beautiful Radha Gokulananda. Prabhupada said that we should use our intelligence. Yukta Vairagya means to take that which is considered material and use it in Krishna's service, because after all, it's all Krishna's energy. So Shruti Dharma Prabhu is maybe you know Shruti Dharma. It's just one of the, and he's just one of the, he's the temple president in UK now, and just a wonderful devotee. Very intelligent. He went to Hong Kong. He looked through all the toy market. Well, what do we care? Hong Kong toy market. Maya. They found these cow banks. It says, caring for Krishna's cows. These cows, if you put a 1 pound coin in it, the cow will move his head and go, moo. If you put in less than that, the cow won't move. So you got to put a pound, So the little kids, the mom, the dad come home from work and they can put a coin in, put a coin in. They've got thousands of these all over the UK. They're raising thousands of pounds every month, and it all goes for supporting the cows. Devotee intelligence. This just opened. There's an area by Bhaktivedanta Manor. It's where you actually come out from the kitchen. George Harrison used to park there because he didn't like to come in through the front and all the crowds and everybody makes a big deal. He would park by the back, slip through the kitchen, just come for darshan and leave. But where, most temples, the back of the kitchen is where all the produce is and all the boxes and all the garbage you have. It's usually not a very nice area. So George Harrison, with British humor, when he would come out the kitchen, he would look at this messy area and say, boys, we could actually make something nice here for Krishna, and then get in his car. It was his subtle way of saying, hey, clean it up, So what the devotees have done in honor of him, they've taken that whole area and made a beautiful garden, and it just opened. His wife came, so many members of parliament came. So that's a garden for George. This is the first Diwali ceremony held at number 10 Downing Street. Number 10 Downing Street, of course, is the house of the Prime Minister of UK. This is David Cameron. I think he's still the Prime Minister. I haven't thrown him out yet. Although his time will come. So, ISKCON is there's Swami Narayan people there, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, so many other groups are there. ISKCON is so well respected that, of course, who are you going to invite to organize it? Well, let's ask ISKCON. They're bona fide. They'll do it nicely. So the devotees, I think it says here, let's see. Oh, they brought a big picture of Radha Gokulananda. You just saw Radha Gokulananda. They brought a big, big picture of them because the devotees could decorate. They decorated the whole place, number 10 Downing Street. the Prime Minister's home, with lights and candles and everything for Diwali. They put a big life-size picture of Radha Gokulananda. The Prime Minister's wife fell in love with it. And she said, oh, when you leave, you're going to take this picture. The whole house is going to, I don't know, you know. They said, would you like it? She said, I'm too embarrassed to ask. The devotee said, yeah, definitely, you can take it. She immediately called some secretary, and they took it up, and hanging in number 10 Downing Street is a big, big picture of Radha Gokulananda. This is Radhanath Maharaj. He's speaking at the House of Commons. These are the directors of all the, you know, they have so many different committees. So these are the heads of all the committees of the House of Parliament. So these are the leaders of the British Parliament, UK Parliament, and they're sitting, and Radhanath Maharaj is speaking to them. And he was talking, he made the point that you measure, now they measure, the success of a nation is called the GNP, or the gross national product. How many durable goods, how many things do you know, things that last longer than 3 years, washing machines, cars, airplanes, how many of those do you pump out? That's the success of your nation, GNP. But he said if you look at the GNP of those top nations, the nations with the top GNP also have the highest suicide rate, drug addiction, divorce, abortion. All the social ills are highest where you have the highest GNP. So he was saying you've got to measure gross national happiness. How are the people actually becoming happy? That's what it means to be leaders of the nation. And they were stunned. They were shocked. He was expected to speak for 50. They wanted, you know, he comes, he does some benediction. So many different swamis and yogis come. You say something sweet, jai, 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 benediction, and go. They were so happy. They asked him questions for 2.5 hours. He stayed. This is ISKCON Russia. They have this festival every year by the Black Sea, Crimean Sea, Black Sea on the Crimean coast. Look at this tent, huge tent, first-class tent, nice stage. Here's what's up on that stage. They had 8 sannyasis, multiple seminars, beautiful cutout of Radha Madhava. It's a wonderful, you're all welcome to go. Next time you're in Russia, stop in. Not in the winter, it's in the summer. This is one of our, you may recognize this well-fed fellow. This is our Basu Ghosh, who never leaves without his Sanskrit pundit next to him. But this is the Black Sea. So the devotees, they have a morning program. Then they take a little prasadam, they take a little rest, they can go for a swim, they practice some yoga. Here's some other devotees, relax. You know, because it's rough in Russia in the wintertime. And then in the evening they have a beautiful seminars and retreats. This is Murmansk. Anyone know where Murmansk is? You don't want to know. You don't want to go there. Prabhupada said hot can always be tolerated, cold is devastating. So it's up by the Arctic Circle. Look at this place. And this picture was taken in May. Prabhupada said somehow or other there's some devotees that live there. Somehow or other they've started a temple. But how do you support? There's no Indian community. There's no big book distribution. How do you support the temple? They started a bakery. Prasadam Bakery. You know, eggless, of course. All nice prasadam. Here's some of the cakes. Wow. This is all edible. It's a cell phone. Check this one out. It's huge, and it's all Krishna prasadam. So people are taking prasadam and paying for it. It supports the whole temple. This is one of those horrible, you know, Soviet block apartments. This says in that Cyrillic, it says, you know, glory to hard work. So it's like in Russia, and this is meant to help you appreciate the merciful Vaishnavas who in this horrible place are delivering the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and saving these people. Glory to hard work. He's working hard. Is that the goal of life? This is Lenin's tomb. Prabhupada went to Moscow in December. You know, that's when he met with that Professor Kotovsky. So Prabhupada saw this huge line. I don't know if they still do, but in those, just like people come to Vrindavan or Mecca or Jerusalem, the communists, if you were a bona fide communist, at least once in your life, you had to do a Mecca. You had to come to, you know, a pilgrimage to the Red Square and see Lenin's tomb, where they have the body, the embalmed body of Lenin is sitting there. So Prabhupada saw all these people lined up for Lenin's tomb. Here's Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada's joke. Prabhupada asked the devotees, do you know why everyone is lined up for Lenin's tomb? Prabhupada said, to make sure he's dead. Such a horrible man, a horrible place, you know? But Prabhupada saw it. The American CIA, you know, the tops, the British M1 or whatever it's called, the top secret services around the world were predicting that the Russian bear was going to conquer the world, and, you know, so billions and billions of dollars spent in defense. Prabhupada went there. He could see that all the workmanship was shoddy. They went to a supermarket, huge supermarket, packed full of things. Only 3 items: canned meat, alcohol, and cigarettes. Huge supermarket. That's all that was there. Row after row of cigarettes, row after row of canned meat, row after row of alcohol, vodka. Prabhupada saw it. He immediately understood these people are not happy. This system is going to collapse. It's shoddy. It's rotten at the core. It will not stand. Prabhupada said that in 1973, at the apex of the communist power. Prabhupada said, it's all going to fall apart. It'll never last. You preach, it'll collapse. And lo, they say it's because of, you know, whatever it is, the Pope, and because of that guy in Poland. No. It was book distribution and the desire of Krishna, and the whole thing collapsed. So, this is the Moscow temple. This is the original, well, not the original, but they had a beautiful temple. Nice temple, right? It was completely crushed. 2004. The government wanted it for this or that or whatever it was. The devotees have been chased from place to place to place, suffering like anything. Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj, one of the great heroes of our society, one thin little sannyasi, PhD candidate in chemistry, you know, a thinker, and yet he's taken the whole burden of management of this place and pushing it forward. As a result of being knocked from pillar or post, one wealthy man, Russian man, he's not even a devotee, but he was so outraged that his government was treating spiritual, religious people like this, he came forward to help the devotees. And they've actually purchased these 2 properties. It's in a very prestigious part of Moscow, and here's what it's going to look like. Now, Krishna has given and Krishna takes away. Krishna gives, Krishna takes away. Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj says that every time they think, okay, this is it, and they get into it, and Krishna takes it away, and they're completely crushed. Krishna gives them something even better, and then Krishna takes that. So Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj says, I can't take it anymore. Let's just hope Krishna stops here, you know? So who knows? But this was at Mayapur last year. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I mean, look at that visage. That vision. Prabhupada could trilochan. He could see past, present, and future. He was getting darshan of Rupa Goswami. Krishna in the heart giving direct inspiration. Oh, I was in Prabhupada's room. And Prabhupada said, just like Lord Ram conquered Lanka with monkey soldiers, I am working with monkey disciples. It's pretty embarrassing, actually. And then Prabhupada said, but that's all right. He said, I've given you the structure. Just go and decorate it. And knowing us oh so well, Prabhupada said, actually I've even given you the decorations. Just go and hang them. Anyone know the Angas? Every avatar, every incarnation of Krishna comes with weapons, isn't it? Chopper, or bow and arrow. So of course Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, but he also has his Angas described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. His beautiful form, Prashadam, the holy name, his associates. So we have the weapons. We have the decorations. We just have to go and hang them. If we execute the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and stay true to that mission, the world is a pearl. Guaranteed. And we see it happening. All by Prabhupada's grace, our founder Acharya. This is in Govinda's in Istanbul, nice restaurant in Turkey. Prashadam ki jai. I mean, look. You take Prashadam and the association of devotees, you ask some questions, you buy some books before, you know, what happened? You got a Sikh and Tilak and don't know what happened. Here's they're offering some new Turkish books. They have small deities there at the time. This is in Italy. The devotees go out, well, you'll see. They go out Monday through Friday, let's say, and they distribute books in a particular area. And they pass out invitations to a festival. Saturday and Sunday, they put on a festival. Check this out. They're putting up a tent. Festival of India, here's the lights. Here they are, the tent's going up. Here's the inside of the tent. Stage, sound system, seats 400 people. Here's what the tent looks like. It's beautiful. They have their own cow. They have a beautiful cow, and they have a little trailer, and the cow travels with them. And in America, we have a farm, and we brought our cows down, and we wanted to, it's a long story, but we actually had them down on the beach for a moment. The lifeguard came along, the local security, and said, "You can't have a dog on the beach." This is not a dog. We said, "This is a cow." We said, "You got any rule against cows on the beach?" The guy got his rule. Nope, no rule about cows on the beach. They don't even know what a cow looks like in the West. Ronald McDonald, they have this nasty McDonald's over here. Ronald McDonald's big in America. The advertisement they show the children is they show the happy clown Ronald McDonald with all the kids. They go out to the forest and they pick hamburgers from the hamburger tree. That's what the kids are thinking. Oh, they come from the hamburger tree like you pick an apple or a mango. When you show them what a cow actually looks like, you say, "You eat this thing." I've had girls, and it's a long story, we take cows out sometimes to our different programs at universities, and they go through the display. It explains all about, factory farming and vegetarian and Krishna Prasad and everything, and Krishna and Govinda Gopal. I've had especially girls, soft heart. They come to the end of the thing, then we have a nice little calf tethered there, and they can feed the calf. They burst into tears. They think, "I never made the connection, I never thought." So here, that's why the devotees travel with this cow. Picture this flying down the road. This is the truck. And behind it a trailer, and out of the back of the trailer is the cow going, what is that? All glories of the Vaishnavas. Now we're going to China. Mission possible. Because everyone thought, it's impossible. What can you do in China? This is another one of the heroes of our society. He's passed away, but this is Tamal Krishna Goswami. And quite often when Prabhupada when there was no one else who had the courage to do something, Prabhupada would call Tamal. He would send, all right, send Tamal. And he did it. Prabhupada sent it to China. I mean, there's so many stories. But because of the time factor, we'll go quicker. This is one of the top scholars, Confucian scholars, in China. This is one of our great heroes. This is Gopi. Purandan Prabhu, who's also passed away. Gopi, this man was so impressed by Gopi. The scholarship, the Sanskrit, the history, the personal character. He became one of our best friends in China, and you'll see why that paid off later on. But look at this guy. He was living on barley water, tofu, bok choy, kale. He's just had a whole plate of samosas, pakoras, gulab jamuns. That is a Buddhist smile. What is the sound of one hand clapping? That Buddhist koan. So this is what a Buddhist smiling looks like. The guy's in ecstasy. As a result of him, we made contact with, this is Tirtharaj Prabhu. He's one of the secretaries for China. This devotee's name, I think he's Sachi Dulol is his name. He's one of the directors of the leaders of the active China devotee, Chinese nationalist. This is the top abbot. This monastery has over 2,000 monks. We made contact with him because of that Confucian scholar. The devotees came, they're sitting there. What's the sound of one hand clapping? What is, how is a desire to become desireless, not a self-centered desire? I mean, it is dry, Prabhus. It is dry. The devotees come, mantra meditation. They're teaching, we're monks from India. They put on kirtan. They distribute prasadam. The 2,000 monks were bouncing off the walls, chanting and dancing. They finally got some juice, And this guy, this is the head abbot. Look at this guy. Look how happy he is. And he told them, he said, "You're doing the real work." He said, "We hide here in the mountains. We go off in these retreats and we're all alone. You're going out into the center of the cities. You're delivering the people. You're doing what we should do." Nice man. Intelligent man. This is Rath Yatra in Hong Kong. They do it at night because there's the Hong Kong side, and across the harbor there's the Kowloon side. Anyone who's been to Hong Kong, it's the big shopping district. Thousands, literally thousands of people from around the world. So they go. This is the Rath Yatra. See the nice cart? Here's Tirtharaj. Managed to get in every single picture. Chinese devotees. They even look like little geishas, dancing nicely for Krishna. All over the world. Now Mao, this horrible monster, I guarantee you, that man is living as a cockroach in a commode somewhere. He's a horrible, horrible person. At the end of his life, he wouldn't even brush his teeth. He did not bathe and he did not brush his teeth. Millions of people died because of the whims of this man. And he used to, this is a book of, quotations of Chairman Mao. Anybody who's my age, I'm 60 years old, they used to wave this red book. It was in Paris when the communists were, it was the big deal. Sayings of Chairman Mao. And he used to wave this book and say, "We will bury you in the dustbin of history." 40 years later, nobody reads this, Chairman Mao. His little red book, it's out of print. But what's in print in China? Here is Satyanarayan Prabhu, the head of Westpac, our Western Pacific division of the BBT. This is Ekachakra Prabhu. He is actually managing director for the Chinese BBT. This is, Janavi Mataji, who did the translation, first-class Chinese translation of the Bhagavatam. See what this sign says in the back? This sign says, the Chinese Social Science Press and Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, they're printing Prabhupada's books. This is one of the top, you can't print in China unless you get permission. This is a big deal. This is the Bhagavatam coming out in Cantonese and Mandarin, full Bhagavatam, full pictures, full purports, full translations, legally printed, and it can be distributed on the street. Prabhupada said, when I hear that a book has come out in a new language, I feel like I have conquered an empire. And now the Bhagavatam is circulated. Prabhupada said the poison is entered and there's no cure. So now we're moving to Bangladesh. We only have 3 more of these and we'll be done. 3 more places. Bangladesh, it's a Muslim country. It's 85% Muslim. Heavy place. I can tell you some stories. It's a heavy place. We have in Dhaka 200 devotees living at the temple. 125 brahmacharis in Dhaka. The Sunday feast, they have over 1,000 people come during the day. Nice big pandal. Here's the crowd, all with their cell phones shut off, asking nice questions. This is Devaki Mataji, another one of the heroes of our society. She's coming originally from Germany. She's gone there and collected the money to pay for the Dhaka temple. She collected the money to pay for this bus. Wonderful Mataji, wonderful Vaishnavi. This is Ratha Yatra down the main street in Dhaka. Inconceivable. It goes right past right past the National Mosque. Not during Friday prayers, trust me, but on another day. It's an amazing event. This is in the middle of Chittagong. There's one of the best area of Chittagong. There's a hill, and it used to be a Hindu orphanage. It's owned by some Hindu group. The land has been donated to us. They have 100 brahmacharis. They're building this temple. The day I left, the marble had just arrived from Jaipur. It's a beautiful temple. Now we're in Europe. This is in Kiev in the Ukraine. 60 devotees living in the temple. Beautiful restaurant. Here's a Sunday feast. 500 to 800 devotees attending. One man, they say, well, one person can't make a difference. What can I do? I'm just one person. I can't make any difference in the world. Think about spending the night with just one mosquito in the room and no net. Does that mosquito make a difference in your life? All day long. One person can make a big difference. This is a devotee in Czechoslovakia. Got a far-out idea. He started a website, and it says, find out what you'll be in your next life. You send in $20, a picture of yourself, and you ask a questionnaire. How much do you like to sleep? What do you like to eat? What do you like? It's all from the Bhagavad Gita, modes in the food in the mode of goodness, food in the mode of passion, food, determination in the mode of ignorance. It's all from Bhagavad Gita. They fill out the questionnaire, and it takes their picture, and it morphs them. See, from a human being into what they'll be in their next life. Are you going to be an animal, human, deva, yogi, monk, fat businessman, whatever? And it sends you it costs $20, you get the answer back, and you get a free Bhagavad Gita along with it. He's distributed over 3,000 Bhagavad Gitas, one man from this one website. Now he's translating into German. After he gets into German, he's going to go into Russian. It's going to go all over the world. It's going to be huge. One man, one good idea. Now we're in Australia. Almost done. This is a little prasadam cart. This folds down. It all folds up into a little trailer you can pull with a truck. It is literally the thunder down under. Here's the inside. It's a kitchen for prasadam distribution. This is a devotee named Ajit. Again, one devotee. I don't know if you know H.G. Prabhu. Wonderful devotee, super intelligent, expert manager. He's got this thing down to a science. I mean, exactly how you cut the potatoes, exactly. It's a first-class menu. It's easy to make. Any devotee who wants to do something like this anywhere in the world, we started 3 of them. We started in America in the last year. He'll go, he'll train you, he'll show you everything. So here's the kitchen. Here's the people when it's opened up. Here's everybody lined up in Australia. They have put up a big pandal in the back. Here's everyone sitting and taking prasadam. Here's the other side. You know, it opens. That little trailer opens onto this side like that. With this trailer, they've raised $1 million US. They've paid for the farm, and they've purchased a beautiful building downtown that they've turned into a preaching center. Distribute prasadam and make money at the same time to use for Krishna? Fantastic. Now we're in Africa, which used to be called the Dark Continent. What is it? Jnana Dipena, the light of transcendental knowledge, of Divya Gyan, is now shining in the Dark Continent. Here's the offices. This opened last year, the African BBT, actually 2 years ago. Here's some of the first books they're coming out with. This is coming back in Zulu and the language of Nelson Mandela. I can't even pronounce it, but those are both coming back. They have 6 traveling Sankirtan parties. Here's one of the parties, traveling all over Africa, distributing Prabhupada's books. All glories of the Vaishnavas. Here's some happy recipients. This man's life has completely changed. Whatever his trajectory of his karma and destiny were completely changed by the association of devotees. Check out these guys. Are they happy or what? This guy looks like he's just had about 4 gulab jamuns. And why? Because he's learned you're not black, you're not white, you're not poor, you're not rich, you're eternal spirit soul, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, Krishna's your best friend. They've got books, they've got prasadam, and check it out. He's got an invitation to the Sunday feast in Durban. You think those guys are going? What do you think? They're counting the days. When can they go, you know? They have programs on the university. As the devotees travel, they distribute books, they're doing programs in the universities. It's going to be big. Just like China, Africa's going to be big. Here's the first Rath Yatra. The cart's way back here. This is in Soweto, which used to be and may still be one of the most crime-ridden, dangerous places in the world. But the Vaishnavas are sailing right down, giving mercy of Lord Jagannath. These nice African Vaishnavas, nicely dressed, chanting Hare Krishna. This is Botswana. Anyone know where Botswana is? I ask people in Europe and America, they don't even know where it is. It's a tiny landlocked country. Don't worry, we've got a beautiful temple there. These pictures were taken before it was opened. It's so beautifully painted, the locals call it the Cake Temple, because it looks like a beautiful wedding cake. So, oh, we're going to the Cake Temple. Beautiful. Botswana, restaurant, guest house. Don't worry, Prabhupada's got you covered wherever you go. Here's the deity, beautiful Krishna Balaram deities. Now this is the last place. This is Myanmar. This is Burma. This was a horrible, repressive place for years, decades. If you wanted to have a cell phone cost you $1,500 US just to have a cell phone, because they didn't want people to communicate. They didn't want you to have information. The devotees showed me where it was so oppressive, especially for the Hindu community. It was so oppressive that people used to flee through the jungles with robbers, cobras, so many things, just to try to get to Thailand so they could get a little job to fill their belly. Horrible place. It's all opened up now. It's actually, on one hand, it's a Buddhist country. I mean, that has advantage and disadvantage. The people are quite pious, actually. Most of the people. And they have a concept of serving monks like that, you know. It actually looks like this. They have bullock carts. Once you get outside the city, they have bullock carts. They have these stupas, or Buddhist temples. On every hill, there's a temple. More than India, actually. There's temples everywhere. It all came from, this is Srivas Pandit Prabhu. He was a college student. I guess I'll say, and he wanted to learn English. Simultaneously, in the other side of the world, there's some Burmese doctors attending a medical convention. They came through JFK, the airport in New York. One of the devotees distributed him a Bhagavad Gita. They looked at the thing, we're Hindus, this is, we're Buddhists, what are we going to do with this? When they got back to Rangoon, to Burma, they had a Hindu friend, a doctor. Maybe you'll like this. He looked at it, he was an impersonalist, Sankaracharya. This is bhakti. Put it on his shelf. His son was Srivas Pandit. His son saw a book in English. Thought, well, I'll learn English by reading. Every word, every fourth or fifth word he had to look up in the dictionary because he didn't speak any English. He actually learned English by reading Bhagavad Gita. And as he read Bhagavad Gita, he became a devotee. Completely convinced. Worship me with your intelligence. And from the Bhagavad Gita, a card fell out. Fill out this card and get a free book. Coming back. He thought, well, why not? Filled it out. He thought, it'll never make it out of Burma. If it makes it to North America, they're never going to send me a book. If they send a book, it'll get stolen in the mail as soon as it gets to Burma. But why not try? He sent it off. 6 months later, he came home from the university, sitting in his living room, with his grandmother feeding him rotis, was Bhakti Vikas Swami. What had happened, Bhakti Vikas Swami was a brahmachari at the time, was stationed in Thailand. He wanted to open up some of these other countries, at least visit. He wrote to the BBT, said, you got any contacts from Burma? Because you could only get a 24-hour visa to Burma. They didn't want you coming. They didn't want tourists. So you could go in for 24 hours, only if you had a contact you could get a 24-hour tourist visa. Now, the devotee said, hey, funny enough, we just got this coupon. We got this card from somebody looking for a free book. Send it to Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj used it to fill out the visa form. Somehow they gave him a visa. He came in 24 hours. He taught Srivas Pandit how to cook prasadam, how to do kirtan, how to chant japa. Taught him everything, like Prabhupada, with Ananta Vasudev in Moscow. Taught him everything. Because he had to get out in 24 hours. Over time, different devotees visited. Srivas Pandit became a full-time devotee. It's a whole story I'll tell some other time. But from one book, distributed at random, without understanding the sequences, just off into the wind in New York, ting, 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 boom. That book landed in the hands of Srivas Pandit and opened up an entire country. He got the idea to translate Bhagavad Gita and the first canto Bhagavatam. The devotee said, why are you working so hard? We'll never be able to print them. We don't have any money. He said, that's all right. Prabhupada said, distribute the books. So he slogged on faithfully. Within a few weeks of getting it translated, some Hindu businessman was visiting Burma. Somehow they found about the temple. Somehow they met them, was so impressed, said, how can I help you? The devotee said, we need $6,000 for printing this book. He gave them money. The devotee said, well, you printed the book. We wasted that money. What are we going to do with these books? We can't distribute them. Oppressive government. Within a month after the books arrived from the printer, Aung San Suu Kyi was let out of jail. The whole country opened up and the devotees can now distribute books. Yeah, so people may think, whatever the political thing on the surface, once the books were ready, whole country opened up. All from one man, from one book. We're getting temple. Burma used to be part of India. It was on the road to China. They would go across the Bay of Bengal, up the Irrawaddy River. They go right into China. It was a big route, a trade route. So many, many Hindu businessmen built temples. Government was oppressive, separated from India, everything collapsed, so many things. They all left. Now they have these old temples, no one to maintain them. We're getting these temples donated. This is right in Rangoon. This temple was donated to us. We'll be done in 5 minutes. This temple is in Rangoon. Nice devotee. Here's the inside of the temple. It's a beautiful Sita Ram deity. The deal is you have to keep the deity. They'll give us the property. You can have the building. You just have to maintain the worship. So there it is. Beautiful Sita Ram deities. Just to get along with the local flavor, it's also, Prabhupada said we could do this. Here's a deity of Lord Buddha. One of the blissful Burmese devotees. This is a yellow watermelon. It's yellow color. And it's even sweeter than the pink type. Here they're cooking, of course you do this in India, but in the West this is a big deal. Here they're cooking the Sunday feast over the wood fire. Here's the Brahmachari ashram. This is another temple. This is some Marwadi, Rajasthani businessman. Beautiful temple. It has a well inside, nice ashram, Satyanarayan deities. Lakshminarayan deities, donated to us right in the center of town. Here's just an example of the place. They call it stupas. It's shaped like a bell sitting on a pedestal. And underneath this is one of Buddha's hair. Underneath this is one of his teeth. Here's a nice some of the Burmese devotees. That's all hammered gold. Sheets of gold hammered. It's a beautiful country, actually. This is another temple. This is in Mandalay. This is the old capital. This is in the center of town. This is literally 2 blocks from the old palace. Beautiful temple, donated to us. Here's the deities. This is the old deity. We had to keep the original deity. On the center altar is a nice deity of Krishna. And then here's our beautiful Radha Govinda deities. This is just, on every one of these hills, there's a stupa on top of the hill, one of these Buddhist temples. What this is called the Shastra temple. Under each one of these is a verse of Buddhist teachings carved into granite. And people come from all over the world and walk through this and read the teachings of Buddha. Here's a picture. It's carved into granite. See? I was thinking we should do the same thing in Mayapur. We should have Bhagavad Gita verses, and people they'll come from all over the world, just like they chant japa, going around and stepping on the stones. They'll actually walk through and read Bhagavad Gita. So this is the Bhagavad Gita has come out in Burmese. Remember Prabhupada saying, I feel like I've conquered an empire when a new book comes out? This is the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam in Burmese. So this is the end. What is the goal of meditation? Our brain is going to be filled with something. We're all going to be dreaming and making plans. Just like right now you're thinking, when is this guy going to be done and what's for breakfast? I'm almost done. And I don't know what's for breakfast, but So we're all making plans. We've all got aspirations. But what is the real perfection of those aspirations? They call these bucket lists, things to do before I die. And the guy's thinking, I never went hang jumping, parachute jumping. I never saw the Taj Mahal. But Yamaraj says, no. I was in a room one time, and a man said, sooner or later I'll become Krishna conscious. Prabhupada said, better sooner. Do you know you have a later? Another guy was fidgeting, and obviously his wife had dragged him. And so Prabhupada said, what is your issue? Why are you disturbed? The man said, I have a very important appointment. He kept looking at his watch. I don't want to miss it. Prabhupada said, you have only one appointment, and you will not miss it. What is that appointment with Yamaraj? You can't look in your daytime and say, sorry, Yamaraj, Thursday doesn't work. How about never? Does never work for you? No. So we have so many desires. And Krishna says in the Gita, they burn like fire and are never satisfied. But if we actually here it is. Look at this greedy little kid. And they're trained like that. Gimme, 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 gimme. I want, I want, I want. Burns like fire and is never satisfied. We're missing something. Oh well, that's all right. Maybe we're missing this one. There we go. This is the formula that explains the material world. We have artificial expectations and guaranteed disappointment. That is the axiomatic truth of this world. Big, big expectations. We think the default mode is my senses should be titillated at every moment. Why? Where does it say that in the instruction manual? Here's what we want, and here's what we actually need. We want this, we actually need this. And we have a whole society that's based on that, a worldview. But Krishna says, if you become absorbed in my Sankirtan mission, this is the proper meditation. This is the proper use of form and function. For one who explains this supreme secret, there's no servant more dear to me. So please, as you're doing now, you've made the right decision. Serve ISKCON. Serve the Sankirtan mission. Deliver the conditioned souls. It will be good for you and good for others. So thank you for sitting so patiently. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. And now